Hey guys, Matt here with Happy TV, and this is my NordicTrack S27i review. Now chances are you've already seen my S22i review, but if not, I'd recommend you check that out after watching this video, because the S27i and S22i are pretty darn similar. So in this video, I'm going to basically point out the major differences between these two bikes and show you all around the S27i and give you my thoughts and opinions on it. This is NordicTrack's flagship indoor exercise bike, and it's pretty awesome, but you know, it's not perfect, so I'm going to show you the good and the bad in this review. So obviously, as you probably already know, the biggest difference is the size of the tablet. You get a 27-inch tablet on the S27i and obviously a 22-inch tablet on the 22. Now this bigger display is heavier, so you're probably wondering, you know, is it more difficult to raise and lower the handlebars? Well, if it weren't for the hydraulic shock built into the stem of the S27i, this would be true. But NordicTrack was thinking ahead when they put this bigger monitor on the S27i and they put a gas shock inside the stem. If you look inside here, you probably won't even be able to see it. But if you look really close, there is actually a gas shock. So even though the S27i tablet is heavier, it's actually much easier to raise and lower the handlebars on the S27i compared to the 22i. Now, honestly, I think the 22-inch tablet is really all you need, but the S27i is definitely an improvement and much bigger and a more immersive experience for riding on an indoor exercise bike.
So to give you an idea of what this screen looks like compared to like an iPad, so if you're using like one of those indoor Jimmy rig setups with this small screen on it, this S27i is going to give you a significantly larger screen, that's for darn sure.
And as you probably already know from my S22i review, iFit is known for their outdoor instructor-led classes. They're just really killing the game really in terms of outdoor instructor-led classes. So having a bigger tablet on your bike really makes you feel more like you're actually riding outside in comparison to a smaller tablet. Some of the other notable cosmetic differences we'll see right away are the location of where the weights are stored on the bike. On the S27i, you get your weight holders on the rear of the bike behind the seat, which is a pretty standard layout for indoor exercise bikes. On the S22i, the weight holders are up near the tablet, which makes it a little more convenient for grabbing the weights, but I've always kind of thought that it puts you kind of at risk to potentially hit the screen with your weights when you're setting them down. And this obviously would not be good if you hit the screen with your weights. On both of these models, you get a very similar tray right in front of the handlebars to set stuff on. Another notable difference on the S27i versus 22 is your water bottle holder is down here versus up here on the S22i. Now, after spending time on the new S22i and the S27i, I really could not tell any difference in terms of like maximum resistance.
This is the true maximum resistance of the bike. You need to have the bike at a full incline in order to get that maximum resistance. And this is a very strong maximum resistance. As I mentioned in my S22i review, you might as well be on a leg press. This genuinely feels like I'm riding my bike up a very steep hill right now.
Incline and decline time and speed or sound. Both of these bikes are really basically identical in terms of their mechanics. You get the same exact handlebars on both bikes, which are excellent to grip. You get your resistance and incline-decline controls right on the end of the handlebars. You get the upgraded forward-facing 30-watt speakers on both the bikes. You can also hook up whatever audio system you want through the Bluetooth feature on either bike. And speaking of Bluetooth, you can hook a heart rate monitor up to the S27i as well as the S22i. You get all of the same metrics on each bike. So in your instructor-led classes, you'll get access to your wattage as well as your cadence. It also shows you your incline and resistance on the screen, and you can adjust those on the screen while riding the bike. You also get the Smart Adjust and Auto Adjust feature on the NordicTrack S27i and S22i. And both of these bikes do have cage-style pedals on one side and also an SPD clip-in option on the other side of the pedal, which is really the ideal way to have a pedal on an indoor cycling bike. So you don't need special shoes, but you can use SPDs and clip in if you want.
So the massive 27-inch rotating touchscreen Goes all the way around.
The NordicTrack S27i tablet can rotate 360 degrees, just like the S22i. They both tilt up and down a little bit, and both of these bikes can fit a very small rider.
So here's what everything looks like on the S27i in its most compact form. The handlebar reach is like really close, and everything is very compact.
As well as a very large rider as well, because the adjustments for the saddle and the handlebars go way down and also way up. Also, the maximum weight capacity of this bike is 350 pounds. This is one of the most sturdy bikes I have ever ridden. The inertia enhanced flywheel on the S27i feels amazing to ride. I don't think that they've really made any changes to the drivetrain since their original S22i, which felt amazing to ride. The new S22i is amazing to ride, and so is the S27i. Just to touch on the noise, the silent magnetic resistance is certainly 100% silent. You will not hear any noise coming from the resistance on this bike. However, there is a small amount of noise that will happen when you're adjusting the incline and decline on the S27i.
So we're on -10 incline, and I'll just bump it to 20 and let you see what it sounds like and how long it takes. So -10, 20.
It's really not too bad, and if you're really concerned about keeping this bike super silent, you can turn off that incline and decline and not use it at all, but you should be aware that the bike does make some noise when adjusting up and down. And to touch a little bit more on that incline and decline feature on the S27i, I actually think this feature is super awesome on the NordicTrack bikes. It really just brings a new element into the ride that other bikes like the Peloton bike and some of these cheaper style indoor exercise bikes that you might be looking at just don't have. So with the outdoor instructor led rides with iFit, you're probably going to be doing like a lot of, outdoor rides, and adding that incline and decline really takes up the experience of your indoor exercise rides. It really does a great job of actually simulating like you're riding outdoors a lot more than any other bike I've tried. Similar to the S22i, the NordicTrack S27i also comes with a fan built in right below the tablet. And if you have not rode on an exercise bike before, it's actually really important to have a fan near you, because the air around you is going to get really stagnant. You're going to get sweaty, and it really feels great to have a fan blowing on you. So the NordicTrack bikes are awesome because they have the fan built in right there for you. And there's also an automatic adjusting feature on the fan, and you can also manually adjust it 3 different levels. To touch on the delivery and assembly process for these bikes, when you buy it online, it will show up to your door just like this in this box. It'll take you about an hour or 2 to build it, and the new NordicTrack bikes are significantly easier to build than the older models. In the past, I made an entire assembly video for the S22i. One of the things that made the previous model of the S22i so hard to build was you had to bolt on the legs. You no longer need to bolt these on because they come welded on the bike from the factory. So building the new S22i and the new S27i are both way easier to build than the previous models we've seen. To give you a little bit more of an idea of what you're looking for in terms of assembly for the S27i or S22i, pretty much this is your hardware pack, so there's really not a lot you have to put together on the newer models.
Pretty much the only hard part about the installation on the S27i is getting this big tablet on here.
So depending on the time of year and what promotions are going on, the S27i will cost roughly $500 more than the S22i, which is certainly one thing to take into consideration when purchasing a NordicTrack bike. But perhaps another thing you'd want to take into consideration between these two bikes is one does weigh a little bit more. The S27i weighs about 217 pounds in the box, while the S22i weighs 205 pounds. So it's about a 15-pound difference in these bikes. But more importantly, I'd say take into consideration where you're going to be putting the bike, because that big tablet on the S27i definitely does take up a little bit more real estate in your home. So if you have the space for it, I think the S27i is awesome. But if you're in a very small space, probably the S22i would be a little better fit. Both of these bikes do come with pretty extensive warranties. There's a 10-year warranty on the frame, 2-year parts and labor, and 1-year labor warranty. And NordicTrack does have a 30-day return policy. You can check the link below this video to see what the current prices are for the S27i as well as the S22i. And if you would like to help support Tail Hobby TV, if you did buy through the link below in the description box, it would help support this channel at no additional cost to you. And of course, I would greatly appreciate your support. So thanks for watching this S27i review, guys. Give me a thumbs up, drop any comments below, and I'll catch you in my next review.